Welcome everyone, Christine here with a discussion about Grom the Paunch for the Shadows of Change DLC Total War Warhammer 3 patch 4.0. Oh, did I say Grom? I meant to say Mother Ostankya. But either way, Grom has a situation where they start far away from the other legendary lords of their respective race, but makes up for it in large part through unique buffs that they can get through the cauldron. The witch's hut over here. And can gain a ridiculous amount of power in their campaign. But being so far away from the other legendary lords of their race does create certain issues in the long term. Mockery aside, this is what Mother Ostankya is, effectively. She is Grom the Paunch 2.0. Though I think that does make sense considering it's the hags that help Grom cook in his campaign. And, well, certainly Mother Ostankya is the hag in the Warhammer universe. So how does this work? You do start over here in the Bleakhold Fortress as a minor settlement, or with the Bleakhold Dark Elves, and soon to be at war with Morathi. So you're kind of playing Morathi's campaign, but a bit in reverse, because it's like what you do as Morathi is you start an ancient city in Quintex, you take over Titan Peaks, but eventually you build an army to take the Bleak Coast. Morathi's army goes to the west to take the Ashen Coast, deals with elves, and then goes north and gets involved in the situation over here, which I did. Yes, I have alliances with both Malekith and Alif on our. I'm sure there won't be any kind of issues with that particular situation. Now, how does her unique campaign mechanic work exactly? So you have blessings or curses. Curses are debuffs that you can apply to enemy units. Blessings are buffs that you can apply to your units. The way this functions is you have, on this particular side, you have various effects to either a blessing or a curse that you can use. Like, these will require certain specific parts. So, for instance, part types. So you've got wood, teeth, bone, skulls, horns, and bones. Individual parts over here do give different bonuses. So for instance, if I were to defeat the ogres or form an alliance with them, I would get a benefit, a blessing or a curse that can either buff or decrease missile strength. Since I haven't encountered any ogres so far, I don't have that. So there's various benefits. For instance, Deadeye's Sting can increase the armor-piercing missile damage and base missile damage of a unit. And also in this particular case, it has chosen to go with the extra effect, because you can put an extra effect. So you've got the base trinket, and then you can add a secondary trinket slot. So if I want a range benefit over here, then I can do so. Or basically, you can keep combining things until you get more or less what you do want. And you do have to encounter and defeat various races to get all of these benefits. Now, how does this function? Well, let's just make that one. Let's create that incantation. So, if I take my army over here and attack the Black Forest. No. Yes, it is going to affect my reliability rating, but that doesn't really matter over here. But if I take it, then you can see that all of the blessings that I have created are available on this side. So Deadeye's Sting that I just created, I can put on a unit through here. Another one with range. And if I want to debuff the enemy, I can do the same. And these get used up. They're unique use. That is how the system works in the game as it currently is. Now, on top of that, this consumes a resource called Spirit Essence. It is gained from fighting battles and maintaining low levels of corruption. Neither of which are going to be a problem, so you'll be swarming in essences, far more so than you'll have to spend. On top of that, Mother Ostankya does have a unique research tree. She doesn't need to have the special cities of Kislev to get the various benefits from the research tree. She also has the tales from the woods that grant her various benefits. This is instant research that requires spirit and senses. Beyond that, she does have the regular Kislev tree, though with the ability of unlocking the special research that would normally require either controlling the special cities of Kislev, or the special cities of Kislev, or having a military or defensive alliance with the faction of Kislev that does so. You do not need to do so. Now, one of the things you can do from the technology tree with the Tales of the Woods is get various benefits for the jinxes, the powerful jinxes you do have up here. Now, what do these jinxes do? Well, the one you'll start with can remove all corruption from the target province. This is not particularly important, but the second one, with an enemy army in a province that you control, so I can't actually use it here, but in a province that you control, you can reduce campaign movement range, increase winds of magic cost for all spells to the enemy, disable march, underway, and teleportation stances for the target. Then you have the Jinxed Land, which can teleport an army from one province to another. So for instance, if I take this particular army, then I can teleport it to the Griffinwood, the magical forest that is closest to Kislev. And I can do so and still retain the campaign movement range. That is fairly substantial, I'd argue. Though Drycha being Drycha, she won't just fall easily to auto-resolve. Now, furthermore, campaign faction effects-wise, she gets melee attack when fighting against armies that spread corruption, melee defense for spider, hatchling, and giant spiders, global recruitment duration for elemental, for incarnate elemental of beasts, winds of magic, power reserve capacity +1 for each resource producing buildings. That is the faction effect. Her lord effects, if we look at her, she gets various spell benefits and magical attacks. She also is basically an artillery piece over here. She doesn't have a mount option. She already starts on the mount. Special skill-wise, she gets effect duration for spells that debuff the enemy. Winds of magic cost for spells that debuff the enemy. Spirit bear ability. More winds of magic benefit and spirit essence cost for hexes. Control, recruitment hag for hag witches in all provinces. Hero capacity for hag witches. Ambush benefits. Charge bonus. Melee attack as well. More magical benefits. And finally, attacks cause a curse, reducing combat potential. You upgrade the spirit bear and causes fear when fighting against humans. She's also a caster lord that has a combination of lore of beasts and lore of shadows. Though she's mostly about buffing and debuffing the enemy. She gets a lot of benefits on that. And she gets two items that will help with or against magic. Now, in terms of the uniqueness of her campaign, she doesn't have the ability of recruiting any of the mainline Kislev units in her campaign until you either control one of the major cities of Kislev, or you are allied. It can be a defensive alliance to be able to construct the buildings. I do have one major issue with that. Restricting units, fine. Restricting patriarchs, that is very, very different. Because one of the strong points of Kislev is their casualty replenishment. That means you don't have to fight as many battles. You can recover from battles very quickly. It means you don't have to manually fight as many battles. You can still get the Patriarch through an event, which is what I did over here, but until you ally one of the Kislev factions, you will not be able to recruit Patriarchs, and you will not be able to recruit those regular units of Kislev. Instead, in terms of unit recruitment, you've got spider hatchlings from the animal den building chain. You've got spider hatchlings, cave bats, giant spiders, feral bears, feral ice bears. You do get snow leopards, so you get the beast. You do get the beast. The beast, but you don't have artillery. You don't have melee infantry. You do also get the unique ambusher unit that is part of the DLC, Thing in the Woods, Hags, and Incarnate Elemental of Beasts. So she's a combination of Grom and Drycha, which is a pretty terrifying combination, I'm gonna admit, in any particular campaign. Though I really don't like the fact that she's missing out casualty replenishment. I mean, of all the things to take away from a Kislev Legendary Lord, casualty replenishment is one of those things that they shouldn't have touched. But you can get access to all the unique units to all the regular units of Kislev if you just get a defensive alliance with one of the Kislev factions. Most likely this involves teleporting to the Griffinwood later on in a campaign and basically taking Ostmark and giving that to Catherine, if Catherine is still alive. Now, the objective of your campaign is to unlock all of these jinxes. So what that means is to unlock these, you need to spend a huge amount of spirit essences continuously. So every single turn, what you're going to do here is, since these cost, right, these do cost money to spend. These do cost spirit essences to spend. So what you're going to do every single turn is go over here, spend all of them, activate all the parts that you do have, just to spend those spirit essences to unlock the jinxes to complete your campaign. Same with research. I think it is that research also affects this, so you're going to want to basically be spending spirit essences as quickly as possible. This then will unlock various quest battles that will then unlock the jinxes. That's how the system works for Mother Ostankya. That is the essence, if you will, of her campaign. So she's the unholy combination of Grom and Drycha. That's how I would describe her. She's like Drycha in the sense that she needs to do the rituals, and she has those 4 spirit units unique to her in her campaign. And she's also far away from the other legendary lords of her respective race. She's like Grom because she has basically the cauldron mechanic. And that is all there is to say about this. Questine signing out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and enable notifications. And stay tuned for more.